These aren't your average sausage rolls. Think flaky pastry, sweet apples, and savoury sage. They're one of my favourite recipes for a good reason. Let's make them from scratch. Welcome back to the kitchen, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. Today we're talking sausage rolls. Now this is a classic. Seriously good. So let's have a look at the ingredients we're going to need for this. So we're going to need 500 grams of sausage meat, 1 small onion, 1 apple, 1 clove of garlic, 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, some fresh sage, fresh thyme, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, freshly ground black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of ground fennel and cumin seeds, and then we'll need 1 egg for the egg wash and some sesame seeds as a garnish on top. And we also need puff pastry. You need about 300 grams worth. Now this is puff pastry I made last week in the video. So if you want to check out how to make rough puff pastry, go check that out. If you're going to make small sausage rolls, then you'll probably need more. You probably need close to 500 grams. But I'm going to do fairly chunky ones, so I suspect it'll be around 300. We'll see. I've not made these in a while. Hopefully, I've got the recipe right. We'll find out. Right, so let's get started. Need a large bowl to put everything in. And I'm also going to make a bit of space here. And so first I need to prep these little bits. So I'll start with the herbs. Thyme is super easy. All you have to do is take the leaves off like that. Do you see that? You just pull it off. You don't want the stalk, you just want these leaves. The thing is that the bits of the stalk that are further down are really tough and not nice. So I'll get rid of these stalks. Give these a little chop. I find thyme, it depends on the time of year. It depends on the time of year as to how tender it is. These are all fairly green and lush, but sometimes they can be a bit woody and tough, and so you'd want to chop those a bit finer, but that's all that needs. Straight into the bowl. The sage, we can take the leaves. Now a hack with sage is if you pile up the leaves and then roll them up like that, and you can finally chop. There we go. Right, what else can go in? The breadcrumbs can go in. Now, onion and garlic, if you just give it a bit of a whammo, peel comes off super easily. There we go. And then I've got a microplane that can go straight in. And onion, again, I find easier to peel an onion if you chop it in half first. And another hack with onion is if you leave the stem on, you're less likely to get teary-eyed. So with chopping onion, there's sort of 2 ways about it. You can either like take that off, chop it into lines and then the other way. Or if you do it like that and then go in a little bit, I find that's the best way. Then you've got some nice small bits. And that's what we want for sausage roll, because you don't want any big bits of onion in your mouth when you're eating a sausage roll, do you? In fact, some people, if they're mincing their meat, they might run the onion through the mincer at the same time. Okay, good. That can go into the bowl. And then finally, the apple. I think we're going to do the same kind of thing, size-wise. Just chop around the core. Same kind of deal. We don't need to peel it. I mean, you could peel it, no harm in peeling it. And then probably want it smaller still. Basically as small as you can go. So you've got these sticks like that, and then you can turn the pile of sticks into cubes. Okay, and do the rest. Oh, missed one. Try again. Good. All right, and then this also goes in the bowl. We can also put our spices in. So salt, and pepper. Plenty of pepper, although it's really up to you. Some people don't like it. That's fine. Right, now this needs a good mix. Now, of course, a lot of these ingredients are optional. You can make sausage rolls with just sausage meat, breadcrumbs, salt and pepper. Still work. But we've got herbs that will bring some nice herby element, and the apples bring a sweetness, and they will also make it a bit more moist and yummy too. Right, so everything's in there. Oh, mustard, that can go in as well. Right, and then sausage meat. I find at this stage it's just easier to get your hands involved. So just want to give it a really good mix-a-rooney. I'll try and keep it in the bowl. Right, and so everything is combined. Brilliant. Put that to one side. We'll have a little bit of a clean up and make sure you wash your hands really thoroughly after handling any raw meat. Then we'll work on our pastry. Let's get that oven turned on. Okay, get your dough. Now, as I said before, I won't be needing all of this because this block here is over 600 grams, so just 1/2 of it. So we're after 2 sheets of around 15 centimeters wide, maybe about 30 centimeters long. More flour. And we're after a rectangular shape that we're then cut in half to divide the mixture in 2 across them. Then you want to put your 2 halves onto a baking sheet. I find it easier to fill them when they're already on the sheet. Then get your sausage meat, and then we want to split this roughly in half. Now, this is not an exact science, but we're going to put half on there like that, and then form this sausage all the way down, but not completely down the middle. I'd go like to one side, like that. Then get that long bit of pastry, flip that over, like that. And then, I suggest if you bring it back a little bit, be careful because this is quite fragile. Then grab your egg wash, that's just the egg whisked up with a little bit of milk. And we're going to brush along this flap here. And then continue to roll that over, trying to keep that round shape as we go, so that the seam is underneath, all right? So you see the seam there is underneath, so that when it cooks, that seam will disappear. Right, that's our giant sausage roll. Now, that would be a bit too big to manage, so I still want them to be pretty chunky, so I'm gonna cut this into 4, or like I said, if you want to do smaller ones, that's up to you. Right, but I'm not going to use this knife. It's much better at this stage if you use a serrated knife, because you want to go through the meat. Otherwise, it would just squish it down. They are going to be pretty chunky sausage rolls. Maybe I'll do that other side a bit smaller. We'll see. Okay, now to give it a bit of space while it's cooking, you could move a couple of those down, because this is puff pastry. As it cooks, they will grow. All right, and the same with the other side. Okay, so look at that. I did make them a bit smaller, that second batch. Right, this point, grab that egg wash, and then we're going all over the outside. Don't go crazy, just along the top there. Okay, then grab a sharp knife, and then we're just going to do some little slits across the top, like that, all over. What that does is it just releases the pressure on the puff pastry, and it will allow it to rise up a bit more. Not going all the way through, just really lightly, just this light scoring. And then grab those poppy seeds or sesame seeds, whatever you have, just to sprinkle a few on top like that, on the top of each one. Great. And now they're ready to go into the oven. Now, cooking time, these are a bit on the big side. So I'm going to say half an hour. The oven's at 200. We'll have to see. It could be a bit longer. Normally, if you make them smaller, just 20 minutes is good, but let's see. I am really quite excited about this situation going on here. It smells amazing, first of all. And so it took about 35 minutes in the oven. I'm also really pleased how this homemade puff pastry has turned out. So I think I'm going to cut one open, see what it looks like inside. Oh yeah, check that out. Heaven. Oh, I think I nailed the recipe, and I think you need to go and do it. Really, really good. So good. The sage really comes through, and the slight hint of cumin there, which actually I wasn't sure about, but I'm glad I put that in. It's super meaty and really juicy and moist because of those apples, and the breadcrumbs also, they help retain that moisture. We got a good one here. Got a real good one. I highly recommend you go and make it. Let me know how you get on. Share with your friends and family. I have no idea what's happening next week, but in the meantime, guys, keep cooking.